Eginnovation. Presentasi kali ini akan disampaikan dalam bahasa Inggris. Jika ada pertanyaan, dapat disampaikan dalam kolom chat. Nanti akan kita bahas dalam sesi Q&A. Kami dari PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi selaku partner dari Eginnovation, dan dalam kesempatan kali ini kita akan membahas bagaimana implementasi aplikasi monitoring untuk bisnis dan usaha Anda. Saya berikan kesempatan pertama kepada Bapak Fanky selaku Direktur PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi untuk menyapa kita semua. Silahkan Pak.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Nurmah atas waktunya. Selamat siang Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan sekalian, selamat datang di kegiatan kita pada siang kali ini. Ya, dari PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi, saya mengucapkan terima kasih untuk kesempatan kita bisa bertemu meskipun secara virtual ya pada kali ini. Nah, kesempatan kali ini kita akan membahas tentang sesuatu yang sedang menjadi tren yang banyak dilakukan oleh banyak perusahaan dan instansi, di mana mereka sudah mulai memonitor aplikasi dan menggunakan software tertentu untuk memonitoring aplikasi dengan lebih baik. Nah, produk inilah yang disebut dengan application monitoring ya. Nah, salah satu produk application monitoring yang kami handle adalah produk dari Eginnovation. Nah, kesempatan kali ini kita akan membahas tentang monitoring your application effectively and efficiently. Jadi narasumber kita masih kita undang prinsipal kita dari Singapura. Ada hadir di sini, ada tim, ada Anthony, ada Jessilia. Jadi mereka yang akan present ya, tapi jangan khawatir, nanti ada kawan-kawan dari tempat kami yang akan membantu mentranslate apabila ada pertanyaan ataupun informasi yang ingin digali lebih dalam, silakan sampaikan atau interrupt atau boleh melalui chat. Nanti kita akan coba menjawab ataupun mentranslate pertanyaan ataupun diskusi yang nanti kita akan sampaikan. Dalam kesempatan ini juga saya mengucapkan terima kasih. Thank you so much for the support for the Eginnovation team. Timothy, Anthony, Jessilia for being good support for us ya, PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi. Nah, kita harapkan kegiatan kita ini bermanfaat untuk kita semua. Jadi apabila ada kebutuhan terkait dengan application monitoring, silakan jangan ragu kontak tim kami ya. Di sini ada Mbak Yessi, Sales Manager. Dia akan bantu Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan sekalian apabila ada kebutuhan terkait dengan monitoring system. Itu saja, saya kembalikan ke Mbak Nurmah. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Fanky. Berikutnya kita akan mendengarkan sharing presentasi dari Ibu Yessi. Beliau adalah Sales Manager dari PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi. Silahkan Bu Yessi.
Baik Bu Nurmah, terima kasih untuk kesempatannya. Saya juga mengucapkan terima kasih buat Bapak Ibu yang telah hadir dalam acara webinar kita hari ini. Seperti yang Pak Fanky info, kalau ada kebutuhan untuk monitoring aplikasi bisa kontak saya. Tapi izinkan saya siang hari ini untuk presentasikan beberapa solusi yang DCM bisa support. Mungkin Bapak ada kebutuhan, kita bisa support dengan kebutuhan yang ada pada kita. Oke, izin share ya Mbak Nur.
Iya.
Ini saya belum bisa buka.
Tim, sorry, can you stop the screen first?
Sudah terlihat ya di layar saya. Oke, PT Daya Cipta Mandiri Solusi ini kita berfokus di bidang data center, cloud, dan monitoring solution. Kita establish sejak tahun...
Full screen tolong.
Ya, sorry Pak.
No. Ya. Yeah.
Oke, ini beberapa, ini tim kita. Nah, fokus kita dibangun di bidang data center, kita mulai dari membangun data center, seperti ada untuk respor, AC, ini kita pekerjaan seperti ini. Nah, seperti digambar di sini terlihat ya kabel masih berantakan, jadi kita juga pegang solusi untuk perapihan kabel. Ini beberapa brand yang kita pakai, ada Panduit, Netfill, Belden. Ini tergantung sesuai dengan kebutuhan customer-nya. Nah, kita juga punya solusi YMS di data center, yaitu produk dari AKCP, di mana ini bisa memonitoring sensor suhu, power, dan security. Nah, kita juga punya solusi aplikasi monitoring network, itu dari PRTG. Di sini kita juga punya solusinya Nagios. Nah, kita juga punya solusi produk metadata fungsi sama untuk monitoring network. Nah, kita juga punya aplikasi monitoring Eginnovation yang hari ini akan kita bahas bagaimana secara lengkap kita bisa monitoring aplikasi. Kita juga punya solusi helpdesk system, itu dari produk Managed Engine ITSM Service Desk Plus. Nah, kita juga punya produk yang sama kebutuhannya, itu adalah metadata IT Service Management. Kita juga punya yang based on-nya cloud, itu pre-service. Kita juga punya cloud services, itu Jetagrid. Di sini misalnya Bapak ada kebutuhan untuk virtual data center, backup, atau replication, bisa ke kita. Untuk data centernya ini kita ada di Indonesia. Nah, kita juga punya solusi untuk monitoring cloud, yaitu Virtana Cloud Wisdom. Kita juga punya solusi untuk messaging gateway ya, itu untuk IT alert, marketing message. Ini produk dari SendQuick. Ini juga udah integrate ke beberapa sosial media seperti Telegram, Line, WeChat. Kita juga punya solusi untuk charge ya, charge library, jadi produknya Fusion Charge. Nah, kita juga punya solution untuk manajemen database, itu dari Navicat. Kita juga punya aplikasi untuk PHP Runner. Nah, Bapak di sini kita juga ada kebutuhan untuk support HRS Management, ini produk dari Orang E. Ini profil dari tim kita, ada Pak Fanky selaku kita, Pak Weywey untuk teknikal kita, dan ada Pak Sony yang tidak gabung hari ini, dia sebagai delivery manager kita. Ini beberapa profil tim. Ada saya juga, ada Bu Nurmah, ada Novi, dan lainnya. Ini achievement kita di tahun 2020, sebelumnya kita. Nah, alamat kita ada di sini. Jika Bapak ada kebutuhan, bisa kontak kita. Terima kasih, Bu Nurmah.
Terima kasih Bu Yessi, senang sekali kita melihat berbagai solusi dari PT DI Cipta Mandiri Solusi yang bisa membantu kita semua. Sekarang saat yang tiba, saya akan mempersilahkan narasumber kita, Mr. Timothy and Mr. Anthony from Eginnovation. Please, the screen is yours. Please, Mr. Timothy and Anthony.
Okay, thank you, Noma. And hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Timothy from Eginnovations. So now let me share my screen, right? So my presentation today will be in English. And if you have any questions, do stop me at any point of time, right? So is everybody okay? Yeah? Okay, now today our topic is about how you monitor your application effectively and efficiently, right? So today we are sharing with you the EG Enterprise Suite to help you to do that, right? Okay, so to begin with, first, of course, I think I will want to share with you a little bit about our company so that you have an idea of where we are from and what we do, right? So Eginnovations, we were founded in 2001 and we have 20 years of experience in performance monitoring, and we do only performance monitoring, right? So Singapore is our headquarters. So we work with DCMS, for example, in Indonesia to support opportunities and customers in Indonesia, right? And we also work with our partners in Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand from Singapore, right? We have offices in US, UK, Brazil, Netherlands, Germany, Korea, Hong Kong, and India. So we are focused only in monitoring, right? So these are some of the users of our solution, right? Maybe some of you are from finance, healthcare, government, manufacturing, right? Insurance, legal, utilities, oil and gas, or service providers, right? So we work with different customers from different industry, and a lot of these customers, maybe like you, have experience with a lot of other products. They may have used various tools, right? Some could be silo tools, some could be very complex tools. But today, we hope to share with you why they choose to use EG also, all right? We also have recognition from different vendors, from publications, for example, by VMware, Gartner, right? Nutanix, Oracle, right? Red Hat, to name some of them, right? But let me just go ahead. Right, so from the very beginning, when we started monitoring, we started our solution, we had focused in providing customers with the unified monitoring. Now, what does unified monitoring mean? Right, it is to be able to monitor everything from a single product. Right, so to have, instead of having to manage multiple monitoring products, so you may know there are some products they are good at doing network monitoring, then there's another product that maybe do system monitoring, then there's other product that does database, there are products that do virtualization monitoring, right? So if to monitor your whole infrastructure, you need to use many tools, but we started out wanting to provide our customer, right, with all the monitoring of everything in the infrastructure, right? Then as we go along, right, we develop different specialty. Like for example, in 2005 onwards, we started to have some focus in providing Citrix monitoring, because we see a lot of customers who are using virtual desktop, virtual apps, right? So from there, we're going to even, when VMware started to pick up, we started to do virtualization monitoring, right? Building on what we have done for the virtual desktop, we were able to go into virtualization monitoring, right? So from there on, we go into more in-depth into applications, right? And to today, right, we do user experience monitoring, we do application monitoring, and we do cloud-based monitoring. So we provide customers all the way from monitoring for infrastructure, which include your network, your server hardware, your physical server, your virtual servers. If you are using virtual desktops, for example, we support that. Then we support different virtualization technologies, storage technology, cloud technologies. We support a wide range of web servers, app servers, database servers, messaging servers. So our customers, the customers that you saw earlier, they were able to use a single product to monitor almost everything in their infrastructure, versus before EG, they were using 4-5 products to manage, right? So with EG, they were able to have a unified monitoring with a single console, right? Now, before we start to go into more details, I think it's important for us to differentiate their different type of tools, right? There are tools that are used for stress testing. There are tools that we talk about optimization tools. Then we talk about monitoring tools, tools that they go into doing other diagnosis, right? Detailed diagnosis type of tools. And then they talk about administrative tools, right? So where EG falls in is EG is a monitoring tool, right? And we are used in production as well as non-production for most of our customers, right? So there may be that some of you may have some requirements for stress testing, right? We don't do that. Normally, if customer they need to do stress testing, they will use the other tools to do stress testing, and then they use EG to do the monitoring. Sometimes they need to do diagnosis, right? EG provide the diagnosis, and then they will use the EG reports and the EG tool to help them to do the diagnosis also. Okay. Okay, now this is the performance challenge of a lot of IT teams. Maybe can I maybe just quickly ask if any one of you have this problem that you have so many things to look at, right? But you don't have enough skill set, or you don't have enough people to manage so many different products. This is just a very simple example, right? Some customers could be using Manage Engine for something, and then they use PLTG for something. They use VR Ops for something else, and then they use Oracle Diagnostic for something else, right? And then they could be running Cisco Prime, right, to look at something else, right? So there could be so many different products at one time, right? So maybe at this point, I would like to ask if do you all have this problem? If you have, maybe you can just type on the screen in the chat to say that to let us know whether if you have this problem, right? Do you have this experience where you find that you are looking at too much data, right? But you are not able to effectively or efficiently identify the performance root cause. But Weywey, maybe you want to help to explain. If we can get them to just type in the chat box if any one of them has any challenge, or if any one of them has similar problem of managing multiple tools.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, jadi ya seperti yang disampaikan oleh Mr. Jun tadi, bahwa dengan tools Eginnovation ini kita bisa mengetahui gitu ya, di manakah terjadi problem slow atau manual diagnosis. Karena dengan satu tools kurang lebih bisa replace berbagai tools yang digunakan saat ini. Nah, jika Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan atau pernah mengalami hal seperti ini, mungkin bisa disampaikan di kolom chat ya. Oke, please continue, Mr.
Okay, right. Okay, so now to continue with what I mentioned just now, right? There are different type of tools. So this is a general classification of tools, right? Now there are some tools that are only what I call a single silo tool, usually focus on a specific tier of the IT environment. Like for example, network monitoring. So they do network monitoring well, right? But they cannot be used for other things, right? Then sometimes there may be those silo tools that only look at database, right? They do database very well, but they don't do a good job in doing network or virtualization monitoring, right? So these silo tools require specific skill set to use, right? For example, if you are a network administrator, right? If I monitor the database and I give you database performance data, you will not understand what's the meaning of the data, right? And you can only see that silo that you are monitoring. So it becomes very difficult to troubleshoot, because if I'm a network administrator, I understand the network data, but I don't understand the data from other tools, right? So troubleshooting takes a long time. You have to work with different people, and most of the time you can tell me that network is okay, right? But you do not know where is the problem. Okay, now the next approach is some people, they will use multiple silo tools. As I mentioned earlier on, right? You could be using different tool by different team. Network team may use a network tool. System team may use a system tool. Virtualization team may use a different tool. The application team will use a different tool, right? So what happened is that when there's so much performance data everywhere, right? I have network performance data, I have system performance data, I have virtualization performance data, I have database performance data, but nobody understand all the data, right? Network team will not understand the virtualization data. Database team won't understand network performance data, right? So it becomes very difficult for your level 1 support to understand what is happening. Very often you will need to have senior people, maybe like yourself, right? I believe most of you are senior people, right? You are senior in your team. So maybe you may understand more of the data than your junior. But most of the time, on the day-to-day, it is your junior, right, that is managing the performance, right, or using the tools. Right. So troubleshooting again is very difficult, right? And it's very difficult to achieve a single dashboard, right? Very difficult to achieve what we call unified monitoring, right? And if you want unified monitoring, there's a lot of integration that is required, right? And maintenance become a big problem because you have to maintain multiple products. Okay. Next, another approach is what we talk about multi-module tools, right? Some product, they are marketed under a single brand, but with multiple specialization. Sometimes the licensing can be also complex, right? But the product is still very much a standalone. It is still very often is still silo in nature, right? And if you want to integrate all the product together to get a single dashboard, the integration effort can be quite expensive. So a lot of people, when they use multi-silo tools or they use multi-module tools, when they want to integrate, they want to have a single dashboard, it is always very expensive or requires a lot of effort. And most of the time, they end up not doing the integration. So their monitoring never become effective or is never efficient because I need to look at many data. Okay, and then there's this approach we call end-to-end or converge. Okay, so from a single product to monitor across all the tiers and layers, right? From the network, the system, the cloud, virtualization, application, user experience, APM, all can be monitored from one single product. Okay, so when they are monitoring it from all the same product, right, it is already an integrated solution. It provides the unified view, right? And usually this type of tool will be able to help you with automatic diagnosis. That means that when something happens, the solution can help you do the diagnosis out of the box, okay? That is why you can achieve efficiency. That means be able to identify the bottleneck faster. Okay, and because it's a unified solution, very often or most of the time, there are options available such that you can have a single agent, okay, or so it becomes a lot easier to maintain as compared to a solution that is multi-silo tools. Okay, any question on this? Okay, if no question, I'll move forward. Okay, so now when we talk about monitoring, we talk about wanting to be efficient. So at the end of the day, I can have one tool, I can have multiple tools. But the most important thing is I must achieve the outcome quickly. then what is the outcome? The outcome is being able to understand the user experience, understand the business transaction, understand the app middleware, understand the database, operating system, server, network performance, everything, whether they are on-premise or on cloud. Because today we have customers who have deployed their application on-premise and on cloud, right? So we must be able to do this. And now, EG Enterprise is the product that can help you to that. It's a solution that can help you achieve converged application and infrastructure performance visibility most effectively and efficiently. Okay, so this is what today we are going to cover, and later Anthony will go through the details of the architecture just to give you an idea of the architecture, and then we'll run through a quick demo with you so that you can understand, you can see for yourself in real time how this works. Okay, so these are some of the problems that IT team face, right? I believe it's also something that you may face where users know of the problem before your team does. Finger pointing, right? When you are trying to do problem diagnosis, right? It takes too long to isolate and diagnose, right? Critical applications are not properly monitored, okay? And then maybe you don't have enough information to for capacity planning, for optimization, right? And of course, lack of end-to-end view, right? So when I work with my customers, my partners, these are some of the things that are main consideration, right? For performance monitoring strategy, right? Performance monitoring have to be done with a plan. You know, it must be planned. It cannot, if you just want to get some performance data today, you want to get CPU data today, you want to get network data tomorrow, it is not useful, right? So I work with my customer, right, on developing performance monitoring strategy so that they can do what they call performance diagnosis efficiently and effectively, right? So in order to do that, number one, you need to look at a solution that can alert you before the users are affected, right? You need to have a holistic visibility. That means you want to have 360-degree performance visibility across all your IT domains impacting user experience. That include your network system, your middleware, your database, your storage, your hypervisors, your cloud, or even your virtual desktop, right? So in a single solution, it must be able to cover all this, right? And of course, like I said, if you have automatic diagnosis, it will help you to do diagnosis and isolation faster, right? And this can be available only if you use a converged solution, right? An end-to-end converged solution, then you can achieve automatic diagnosis efficiently, okay? Then, of course, you will need to be able to do performance tool that can look across dynamic virtualized environment, because today everything is that, okay? But lastly, last but not and most important is the solution must be easy enough to use, right? Easy enough for you to use it for one system or another system, right? If it is easy to use on one system but very difficult to monitor for another system, then it becomes difficult to expand the use of the tool. Okay. So quick few slides before I pass to Anthony. So this is a typical situation, right? If you look at it, we spend the most time trying to isolate and diagnose a performance issue, right? Whenever something happens, we spend the most amount of time in isolating and diagnosis. Agree? Right? Right. So these are top 5 users of our customer. What they do, is that they use our solution to troubleshoot performance problems, right? Or to monitor specific applications in real time. Like we mentioned about monitoring the IT infrastructure end to end, they use EG to do identify bottleneck as well as to do reports for management. So all these are the typical usage of our customer, what they use our product for, right? And what our customers are saying is that within 4 weeks, okay, most of them, 83% based on our survey, they said they were able to see the ROI, right? And there are some, about 30% that says that the moment they put the product in, once they installed EG, within the first week, they were able to see the ROI because they were able to isolate and diagnose issues immediately. Okay. So with that, you can see that with that, customers are saying that with EG, they were able to avoid service outage. Okay, by identifying the problems before the users were affected. Okay, and as a result, now, and how we do that? Because the amount of time to isolate and diagnosis is reduced, and with that, right, they were able to find the great value in using EG. Okay, now I have shared with you the high level of what about the company and what we try to achieve. I'll now pass to Anthony, okay, to share with you a little bit more about the architecture, and then to go into a demo after that. Okay, before Anthony takes over, any question from the ground? Pak Weywey, maybe you want to check. Anthony, meantime, you can take over the screen.
Okay, I think maybe you can stop the sharing. I am unable to share the screen.
Yeah, I've stopped sharing already.
Right, okay. Thank you, Timothy. Thanks for the introduction.
Meantime, Pak Weywey, any feedback from anybody so far?
Hello, yes, Mr. Tim.
Yeah.
So we have a question for Mr. Budi Hertanto, yeah. So basically, not so long ago, we heard about security breach in SolarWind system, yeah, because the security hole in the supply chain. So he asked, what's Eginnovation strategy to prevent this same security breach in the Eginnovation system to happen?
Okay, Anthony, do you have any response to this?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, basically, okay. First of all, good afternoon to everyone. Thanks for attending this session. Hope you would have got some understanding of the product introduction. Okay, so regarding the security, so we are on the application space. See, security comes with infra, then your device security, server, and application. So as part of Eginnovations, what we do is from the latest release, we digitally sign all our executables so that we ensure that the integrity of the software is maintained. Other one is like we align with the top 10, we follow the top 10 framework from this WAFs who define the application security standards, so that it's against all kind of this scripting injection, then request forgery, session hijacking, or any kind of remote command injection, all these things. Also the security, the login, the authentication is enhanced using domain based as well as multi-factor, so that any malicious login attempt can be detected on the system. So these are the various angles we ensure that the system is protected with against the common vulnerabilities in the application space. Again, you can ensure that you can keep the web application firewall in front end, then other appliances to define a certain infra security, so that we all together we ensure that we apply the security at different levels, not only on the application side.
Okay, maybe I would like to add, the attack was a supply chain attack, and I think this is something that is very different from DDoS and things like that, right? So the only way to manage a supply chain attack is the due diligence that is being done before we roll any codes into the product, right? So that is with this, I think every company is actually more aware and more conscious about that, which we have been practicing all the while. And I think we have just put in more framework to make sure that the codes are checked before they are checked into the what they call the product. So as part of it, to avoid a supply chain attack, the only way is due diligence in checking it every single time when we publish when we upgrade our codes, right? So I think that is probably the best answer I can give to you. As the situation is still evolving, I can understand the concern of a lot of customers. In fact, we have seen a lot of customers who have decided to move out from that product and they have been talking to EG, right? They evaluated our architecture. They look at our track records, and I think a lot of them have started to move to our product. Right. So I hope I answer your question. Because this is a developing situation, I don't think anybody has a full answer. But we can just share with you on our side what we are doing in managing such situation all the while. And now with this situation, we are also improving our process to internally. Okay. Right. I hope I answered the question. But why? Have I answered the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, all right. So now Anthony will take over, and Anthony will run through some of the technical aspect of it, and you perhaps can see some of the features of the product where the agent communication, for example, is one of the security that we put in place since our product was started 20 years ago, right? So I think I'll leave it to Anthony to take over the session for now. Okay, Anthony, please.
Yeah, thank you. Let me start with this product architecture. So here, as part of this product architecture, there are two components. One is that EG management console. So this is web-based, and there is something called agents or clients, which does the real monitoring job. So what you will do is to set up monitoring for any kind of deployment or infra. So you will install the agent on the server. Some of the technologies are supported using agentless, like your hypervisors or the devices where you do the remote polling. So these clients would gather the data using different techniques and push the data to the management console using HTTP and HTTPS. So we have the client server architecture. Again, from the security standpoint, so the data communication between the client to server is encrypted using HTTPS, the latest TLS 1.2 standard, and we use AES 256 for encryption. Again, this web-based console is protected using the top 10 WAF best practices, right? So again, this is web-based. So this management console uses a backend database to store the monitoring results. So later you can analyze the results in the form of dashboards and reports. Again, we have the mobile app, so you need not log into the desktop or tablet to see what is going on. So this app is available in the relevant Play Store for Android and iOS. You can connect to this management console and you can see the data. So 100% this is web-based and supports multi-tenancy. Also, you can do your own branding, all these things. You can keep this in your on-premise or any cloud service like Amazon or Azure or GCP. Also, we offer the cloud services also. You can consume from our cloud also. So the monitoring is flexible. The deployment is flexible. Licensing is also flexible. That means like we are completely independent of the number of applications running on the server. So we need a license per server. It's completely independent of what you run on the server. One server needs one's license, right? So this is the quick architecture. So this is the standard one for most of the tools in the market. We align with the standard. Again, security perspective, yes, the client to server communication is encrypted. Then the management console is secured with the top 10 best practices for web applications, right? So the technologies, right? So EG is not a solution focused on specific specialization like Citrix, VMware, or SAP. So we are end-to-end. So that means we touch base all the TS in the IT ecosystem and tell you where is the problematic trade. Okay. So this is about the universal agent or one agent, right? So if you look at this right hand side, right? So this is the agent. This doing the monitoring for all the technologies. So we support 200 plus technologies out of the box. So you can see the complete coverage in our website, and Citrix, VMware, SAP, then application, web servers, then custom service, the network devices. All these things are supported into a single agent. So we call it as a universal agent or one agent. So you can see the text. The agent uses different techniques to monitor the relevant technology. So let's say if you want to monitor your databases, we use SQL. Some of the applications we use log file monitoring, and SAP uses different technique, right? So it depends on the technology. This agent gathers the performance data from these applications, and it sends the data to the management console. So this management console stores the data on the backend. So we support SQL Server and Oracle as a backend. So later you can log into the console and view what is going in your infra or the bottlenecks, whatever you are having in the form of dashboards and reports. So this agent is completely independent of the server architecture, all the technology. So all the intelligence is built in a single agent or single software. So we call it as an universal monitoring technology, which differentiates us from other vendors. So like if you, Timothy was talking about a multi-model tool, right? So you will have a different specialization. You need to activate it. So let's say if you want to monitor VMware, yes, there is a separate plugin. Then again, database monitoring, separate plugin. So the management of different plugins, then the licensing becomes cumbersome with a multi-module tool. But for us, the complete intelligence is built in a single software. So these are the technologies which I was talking about. You can see the complete coverage in our website. So 180 plus applications, then 10 plus hypervisor platform, then 20 plus storage devices. Our approach for network monitoring is SNMP. So any device, or it could be a router, switcher, access point, or it could be a load balancer. So if it is compliant with SNMP, still we can monitor this. So here is the list. Here is the list, but the detailed coverage is available on the website. Again, this is other bunch of technologies, the modern applications and the infra, right? Supported out of the box. Right. So any questions in the architecture part, or why you want to translate something or any questions? So I'm going to talk about the key agenda of this webinar, which is application monitoring space. So we started with the different techniques or the tools involved in the monitoring. Then I covered a little bit on that product architecture, the key value additions. So why we call it as an universal monitoring or one agent. So single software has the intelligence to cover 200 plus technologies. So any questions in the architecture part before I touch base on this application monitoring?
Now, Anthony.
Okay, thank you.
Please continue.
Right. So moving on. Okay. So for any business, applications are key. Applications are developed using multiple technologies, the heterogeneous technologies, complex architecture. So you got multi-tier, you got multi-tier applications. Again, you got n-tier applications, right? So if you look at here, these are some of the impacts of poor user experience. That means when your application deviates from the user experience. So that means like, so for as a user, when I consume your services, it needs to be fast, right? Then I should be able to complete my task in a short span of time, right? So when it is not meeting my expectation, again, it is impacting my user experience. So it could be slow. I may try to search something, then the response time is slow. Then this is damaging my satisfaction level. again impacting all the business revenue, all these things. So this is also creating an negative impact for my services or applications in the market, right? So all these things are are telling me like the user experience is key. So as a performance monitoring tool, so how can we monitor the application to ensure that the application user experience for good all your users? It could be an internal user or it could be a user coming from internet, right? So all type of users, how can we ensure that we measure the user experience and ensure that so the things are fine, right? So typically any APM tool, right? Any application monitoring tool, there are two approaches. So one is you can monitor the real users. So this one simulation, that means you can simulate the user activities. You can define multiple workflow for a standard user activities, and using the tools you can simulate the workflow and measure the user experience. So the second approach is the real user monitoring. So that means whenever the users are consuming our application, so you measure the application user experience, and you can classify whether it is good or bad or frustrated. So if it is bad, why it is bad, all these things we can analyze as part of this user experience monitoring. So I'll touch base both of the techniques today. Also, I will demonstrate an use case, the real use case on this application monitoring problem, where we'll look at the different tiers, and the bottleneck could be on infra or it could be an application. We classify or we correlate both of the tiers and tell you where is the problematic area. So let's move on, right? So as I said, like how to measure the application user experience. So this is done by measuring the response time. So the end-to-end response time. So first thing is we are going to talk about the real user experience monitoring. Later I'll talk about the simulated or synthetic one. So real user experience monitoring is measured by measuring the application response time. If the application response time is higher, so we need to understand why it is high, right? So typically we call this as browser monitoring. From the browser monitoring, we understand the response time of the application. If the application is high, whether the front end is the problem, this is nothing but the browser side. Then the network, because I need to set up the connection to the server, which is running on my data center over the network. Sometimes my application processed by the typical, it could be a Java technology, .NET or PHP, Node.js, it could be any technology. So the request is processed by the application server on the data center. So the application server does some work, right? So it does some work to create the response for that request. It may take some time, which is nothing but my backend time. Once the response is available, the server pushes the response to the browser. Again, if the network is not good, then my download time would be higher, right? So these are the factors. These are the factors which is really impacting my application response time. If the backend is taking much time, then I need to look into my application, all the transactions in the server, and understand why that particular request spent much time on the server. This is something called distributed tracing, or we call it as a business transaction monitoring. We are supporting this technology for Java, .NET, PHP technologies also, right? So first is the browser monitoring. We understand the response time. If the response time is higher, we look into all the TS, front end, network, backend. If the backend is taking much time, again we do the distributed tracing for Java, .NET, PHP applications, and tell you why that server took much time to service the request, right? So these are the two different techniques. Those things we are going to see in the upcoming slide. So you can see some of the applications. The real user monitoring is enabled. First one is that e-commerce, then the banking application, travel portal, and each has an outage. For this e-commerce site, so the response time is very high, right? That means it's closer to 14 seconds. Again, banking application, some code level errors. So we call this as JavaScript errors. Travel portal, there is a sudden spike in the traffic. Again, you can see the KPI for the application to measure the user experience, how many uses. So this will be similar to Google Analytics, but this is completely different from Google Analytics. So some of the data like a number of uses. So how many uses for my application, how they are coming or how they are accessing my application, either through desktop, mobile or tablet, and what is the average response time? Are there any errors? So these are the KPI which helps to identify the user experience bottleneck. The other important one is there is something called AppDex score. So this is a rating to measure the user experience. So the values ranges from 0 to 1. So the more closer to 1 is that better user experience. Here the response time is 14 seconds. Again, this is a bad response time. So the rating is got impacted. So based on this, you can measure what is the level of your user experience, right? If the user experience is not good, this is not good, right? Now I want to analyze why this application is taking 14 seconds, right? So if you drill down, there are detailed dashboards. So detailed dashboards, you got so many visuals here, right? So many visuals. Again, you can see the breakup, right? So here users are coming from tablet, mobile, desktop. Also the average response time, you can see the breakup, the user experience, right? So here, if the response is high, then this would get impacted. When the response time is higher, you can see the breakup, right? So where my request spent time either on the backend or on the front end or on the network or on the download part. So the more detailed analytics also available. So when I talk about the live demo, maybe I will cover a use case. So here you can analyze the user experience by geo, because I got a global user base. Then sometimes the user experience may be good inside Indonesia, may not be good for the users coming from Surabaya, or outside Indonesia may not be good. So you can measure the user experience by country, by device, by browser, so that you can analyze where is the how good that user experience. So is it got impacted in IE or good in Chrome, and it looks good with the tablet, not good in mobile, right? So you can do different analysis based on the data, whatever we collect as part of the real user experience monitoring, right? So now let's say if you have 100 users consuming your application, I want to see the user experience for all the applications. See here. So right now, these many users are accessing my application. All the user experience are classified into slow, because they are spending much time on the server. So the response time is very higher, like more than 15 seconds or more than 20 seconds, right? So here there are a detailed drill down is also available. I want to analyze the user experience for Joseph, where he spent this much time, or another user, any user. You can click on the magnifying glass, that will take you this visualization where you can see the breakup. So this is the user coming from a particular region, and you can capture all his end user details like his IP and which device he is using, where he is coming. All these things we can capture. This is the overall response time, and you can see the breakup here, right? So this one helps to understand where is the bottleneck, right? So let me show you one more use case also. So this is another use case, right? So here I got a couple of visualization. So the first part is telling me the overall response time is 8 seconds, right? So I could see the split up here again. This looks me the server is taking much time. Yes, closer to 7 seconds. So this is the request. Add to cart is the request. So that took much time on the server. Then, as I said, we need to look into the server side. So that means we need to trace all the transactions handled by the server and analyze why that particular request is taking much time on the server. So here I have enabled the distributed tracing for the backend server, and from here itself you can jump into the backend layer, which is telling me the different calls involved in serving the same request. So there is this seems to be a Java application. So initially Tomcat handles this request. So which invokes different Java calls and database queries or database executions to service this request. So also you can see the time spent on each and every call. So for this request, the database queries executed on the backend taking much time. So MySQL is the database taking much query execution time. So which could be due to the server or could be the poor query also. We need to know like what is causing the bottleneck, right? Why that query is spending much time, what queries are taking much time, all these things. So the detailed drill downs are available. If you click on any place here, you can see that this is the one I was talking about. See here, you can see the complete application flow. So here from this point to this point, there is a slow segment. Slow segment is on this Java processing tier as well as on the database side. You can see the queries are taking more than 10 seconds. So if you click on it, you can see the complete detailed analysis, which is nothing but that execution analysis, which line of code triggered this slowness. For example, for this calls, like there is a database query triggered at this point of time, which is impacting my application performance. You can understand what are the slow queries. Also, you can see if there are any errors in the application. So that also you can see as part of it. So you will get more details when I walk through to the live demo. So this is talking about how can I measure the application user experience. So one is I can measure, first I will measure the application response time. So if the response time is high, then I will understand which is impacting my response time, either the front end or the network or the back end or the download part. If the back end is slow, yes, I will activate the distributed transaction monitoring for the application server side, which will tell me where my request spent much time. I can see the for this request, what are the calls involved, a web service or messaging or database, and the time spent on each and every call. So based on that, I can understand the line of code which is causing the problem. If the database query is a problem, we can also correlate whether the database is a problem or the query is a problem, because sometimes the query may be complex, taking a lot of resources on the server, and the execution time also would be higher, right? Also, we can show you if there are any errors during the application call. We can tell you, yes, this line of code is causing the errors. All these things we can analyze it as part of the distributed transaction tracing, which helps to improve my application user experience, right? So any questions based on what I covered so far? So this is completely on the real user experience monitoring. Any questions based on what I covered so far?
Yes, Mr. Antoni.
Yep.
We have a question from Budi Hertanto. Yeah.
Okay.
Discussing about real user monitoring. Does EG Enterprise also support other front end like Delphi or Java desktop other than browser?
Okay, this is supported. This is supported for only web-based application, not for desktop.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So any technology, it's independent of the technology, but it is a web-based application, browser-based applications. Backend monitoring for supported for Java, .NET, and PHP technologies. Okay. Any other questions before I move into the synthetic monitoring? Okay.
Okay, we have other question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main requirement is to monitor database. Yeah. In this case is Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, and Microsoft has provided free tools to do it. So what are the advantages Eginnovation can offer so it can replace the free tools? Yeah?
So you want to know about the database monitoring or how the database is monitored for this case?
No, I mean the requirement is to monitoring Microsoft SQL Server, right?
Yeah, okay.
And Microsoft has provided the free tools to do it.
Okay.
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 So what is the advantages Eginnovation can offer
Mhm.
that provide better value for him.
Okay. So you are asking about the native tools versus EG on the database monitoring, right? Maybe I'll. The voice is a bit break. Hello.
Okay, maybe for this, let me answer the question. Now, Microsoft, Oracle, or any product have their own monitoring, right? They are like a point tools, right? So the thing is that when you use a point tool is as good as a silo tool. You know, nobody understand the database monitoring except the database administrator, right? So when it comes to trying to identify the performance root cause, the bottleneck, you need to know, you need to take a converged approach. You need to look at the infrastructure, what's happening to the infrastructure at that point of time, what's happening to the network at that point of time, what happening to the database at that point of time, is if it is virtualized, what happened to the hypervisor, what happened to the storage at that point of time, for you to know the real problem, right? So the value of using EG is that with the same product, right, I can monitor the network, the system, your hypervisor, your storage, right, your database, and we can also monitor the application that is accessing the database. For example, you may have a .NET application, right, accessing the database. Maybe the .NET application has a problem and the user is complaining it is slow, right? Is it the network problem? Is it the system problem? Is it your storage problem? Database, .NET application, right? So EG provides you the visibility, right? That's what we call the converged approach, being able to see application, user experience, right? Infrastructure monitoring all at the same time. Okay, I hope I answer your question.
Any other questions in the application monitoring?
Okay, please continue.
Okay.
Continue.
So next is the different angle of measuring user experience by tool, which we call it as synthetic user experience monitoring. So this one ensure that the application availability as well as the response time from different locations. Also, sometimes you may not have any users. So at that point of time, you need to make sure that the application is available and serviceable to my end user request, right? So here what we are doing is we have the synthetic monitoring tool, which is bundled as part of the agent. Using that, this is also supported for the web application. We have a different tool to do this for desktop applications. We are supporting the synthetic in both web and other desktop based applications also. So this one I'm talking about the web based one, where you record the complete workflow for a user. So let's say if I want to buy a plan, the telecom plan, what I'll do is I log into the site, explore all the plans, then select a plan, compare the plan. Finally, I make the payment and I subscribe for that plan. This is a complete workflow, or I would say this is a standard workflow for any telecom user. So I would record this workflow and I will play back. I'll play back the complete workflow using the tool. If there is any failure with that particular step execution, the tool will capture the screenshot. Also, you can see the X mark here. Also, there is a camera icon. X mark indicates the step got failed. Then if you drill down or if you click on the camera icon, you can see the errors or the screenshot, what happened at point of time. All these things we can offer as part of this synthetic user experience. So this use case is different. So I need to measure this application availability and how responsiveness from multiple places, right? So I may have data centers across different places, or I may have users coming from different places. So all these things, if I want to ensure that application availability and response time, yes, I can use this synthetic monitoring. We are supporting this for both web applications as well as desktop applications also. Okay. Again, mobile, right? So applications is you got mobile apps. So for mobile users also, I need to ensure that my user experience is good, right? So we are supporting mobile apps monitoring in Android and iOS. So you can see this is a real monitoring dashboard where there is an application which is running on the mobile. You could see how many users are coming from phone and tablet. You can see the user experience for the users coming from different region. Let's say I try to launch my application, but suddenly I encounter the crash. Application got crashed. So I can analyze the crashes across users base or which line of code is causing the crash. Also, screen which screen is being utilized well. Maybe user may spend much time on the search screen or maybe comparing the product, whatever that. So which of the UI is being used heavily, all the analysis I can do as part of the mobile user experience also, right? So we support this for both Android and iOS applications. Native and hybrid technologies also supported out of the box. Okay. Now, so yes, we are done with this user experience or application monitoring. So other connected part is today you may have applications running on on-premise or it could be on the VMs. So tomorrow you may lift your application to the cloud. It could be any public cloud service, or you can set up your own private cloud also. So there are multiple approaches in the migration strategies. So you can adapt a hybrid, or you can have multi-cloud approach, or you can go with one specific vendor. So we are supporting the public cloud services monitoring like Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, GCP, and Alibaba also. You can consume any kind of workloads. You can consume infra workload, you can consume other application workloads. Yes, still we can monitor our applications. So other part, we monitor the cloud services, different services. So we monitor our compute workloads, storage, then database workloads, other application services in both AWS and Azure. Also we monitor your billing, because sometimes like if the things are not configured properly, then you may end up with a spike in the billing. So you need to optimize it for the effective usage. So we analyze the billing by services and which of the user account is consuming how much dollars. All these things we can monitor in both Amazon and Azure also. Also the databases. So databases, today you got SQL running on premise, tomorrow you can move to Azure, or it could be AWS also. Still we can support that database monitoring in both of the cloud, right? So when you talk about native tools, yes, you may not, it may not compatible with cloud. Yes, Azure, you got the Azure monitor, but when you go for RDS, again it's again talking about multi-cloud, right? Multi-consoles or different consoles. It's difficult to manage. So also it is based on only database. So here you can see the application monitoring and the same workloads move to cloud. Yes, we can offer the same level of visibility. So database workloads, yes, you are moving to the cloud. Yes, we can give you the same level of visibility. So other interesting one is containers. So nowadays the trend is microservices architecture, where you run this workloads on the containers. Docker allows you to create run your container based workloads. Again, when you run containers across different servers, you need a manager or orchestrator. So you have Kubernetes or OpenShift as an orchestrator platform. So we support that this kind of infra workloads, like we monitor the containers, we monitor the Kubernetes control plane. Again, we monitor the OpenShift also. Also the application, the whatever I spoke on the application performance monitoring, the same thing is supported when you run your application inside container, or when you run your application managed by Kubernetes or OpenShift, still we can offer the same level of application user experience, irrelevant of where you run your workloads. So today on the VMware, tomorrow on the cloud, sometime you can part of the workload, yes, you can revamp and you can redesign, re-architect into microservices, you can run it on the containers. Still, you can use the same tool because there is a shift. You are transforming, but you are using the same tool to monitor the application, irrelevant of the technology change, irrelevant of the architecture change, irrelevant of where the workloads are running. This is completely independent, right? So these are the, I would say, these are the key value additions that we can add in the application monitoring space. So this is about the Docker containers. We can monitor the containers and the resource consumption by each of the container, right? Then container uptime, how long this is being up, all these things available as part of the Docker monitoring. Then this is uptime. Different parameters are available. This is about Kubernetes. So we can monitor the Kubernetes workload, then the application namespaces, all these things covered as part of it. This is supported for both Kubernetes in on-premise and managed Kubernetes. Like you got EKS, AKS, and GKS on the cloud. So that also supported in the same software. Okay. So any questions in the application monitoring space? So I got a couple of other slides. Maybe I may extend a bit. Kindly bear with me. So any questions based on the application monitoring? Or anything on the cloud part, anything on the container? Any questions?
Hello, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Hello.
We can hear you. The voice is breaking from your end, I guess. Any questions from anyone? Weywey, are you there?
We can't hear you actually. Are you saying something?
I think he has some audio issues.
Tony, you can continue first if you still have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So beyond application monitoring space, what EG is capable of doing that, right? So here I would highlight on a couple of areas. So EG not only a tool to monitor application, so you can monitor a service, hardware, also the network. So on the network part, we can support the standard network offering. So the network monitoring is supported using SNMP. So any device, router, or any appliances, if it is supporting SNMP, still we can monitor that. So what standard parameters we can monitor is like we can monitor the device availability. We can monitor the traffic over the interfaces. We can monitor the uptime. Also, we can do the firmware monitoring. So certain, let's say if it is a load balancer, there are metrics or data related to the load balancer is also supported. But here, this is a simple dashboard which is talking about the router performance, where you can see the firmware, the CPU, memory, also the availability, uptime, all these things. On the bottom, you can see the traffic over the interfaces on the router. So this visualization is applicable for most of the devices monitored out of the box. So as part of traffic monitoring, so you can see the traffic over the different interfaces here. So let's say here I got a critical. So red means this is a critical. That means some of the outage in the bandwidth. So you can see the bandwidth utilization is around 98%, right? So over this interface, so the bandwidth utilization is high. Also, you can analyze the trend why, right? Why the traffic is high. Also, you can enable NetFlow. NetFlow helps to analyze the who are the top sources are taking the bandwidth, or who are the top consumers are taking the bandwidth. So all the features are supported out of the box on the network space. Now moving into the Citrix, yes, we are one of the strongest player in the application, virtual apps and desktop monitoring. So we support, so nowadays you got two vendors in the market like Citrix, other one is VMware. Both comes with the application and desktop virtualization solution. Xenap, yes, that's from Citrix. We are supporting Xenap. Then VDA offering from the Citrix, as well as the VDA offering from VMware, which is Verizon. Both are supported. So you can use this same tool to measure the user experience for this users who are consuming the desktop. So nowadays it's remote, right? So mostly we consume the desktop from a centralized place, where we need to ensure that my users are happy when they consume the desktops. Also they able to work and they able to access the applications. So we monitor the different parameters in the VDA or application ecosystem, and help to improve the user experience on this application and desktops, virtual desktops monitoring. Again, this is on the enterprise application side. So O365, yes, it's a bunch of services from Microsoft. So here we ensure that we monitor your mail traffic, we monitor the different services like the Teams, then the mail server on the cloud, which is nothing but the Exchange Online, again the SharePoint Online. So all the services are supported out of the box. Also, we have dedicated visualization and reporting for this kind of service monitoring. Different dashboards. So every functionality, either application monitoring or mobile apps monitoring, containers, cloud, this O365 network, everything has got its own dashboards and own reporting to analyze the bottlenecks. So again, SAP. So we are certified for SAP monitoring. So we monitor all the key components like the underlying web engine, the NetWeaver, SAP on cloud, then SAP S/4HANA, all the technologies are supported out of the box. Again, the same dashboards and visualizations are applicable for SAP monitoring also, right? Different dashboards are focused on different technologies on the SAP ecosystem, right? Okay, so any questions on the other area like network monitoring, then server monitoring, O365, then SAP? Any questions? So those are the key addition beyond APM, what EG is capable of doing that. Any questions from anyone?
Hello, Anthony.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No problem.
we have some problem earlier.
Okay,
So
okay, yeah, yes.
Let me repeat the question,
Okay.
So please explain about EG Enterprise Licensing Scheme.
So you want to know the licensing?
Licensing scheme. Is it
okay.
based on, yes, is it based on object like server or application? And also, is it subscription based or perpetual based?
Okay. So our licensing policy.
Okay, maybe we can keep the licensing to the later part, because I think, yeah, let's continue with this part here. We go to the demo and then we cover the licensing towards the back, because so that we can have the flow. I think, is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, let me show something on the reporting part. So reporting part, we got 100+ reports covering different functions, technology, audience. So it's difficult to cover each and every report as part of this. Maybe I can show you a couple of reports during the live demo. Also same, like you got reports for day-to-day operations, capacity, sizing the infra, auditing, and the analytics, analyzing the different parameters when you have a specific outage. There are different reports, 100+ covering different technologies. Again, the other one is we monitor the so many parameters. You need not set the thresholds, right? So here, like most of the intelligence, we use machine learning to learn your performance data. Then based on that, we set the baselines automatically. So let's say, see here, active sessions are number of users, right? So which will vary based on time. So I cannot change or tweak my thresholds often. So this is automatic, completely automatic, right? Also traffic, you can keep the auto thresholds. So the system learns the historical usage or data points. So based on that, it creates the baselines automatically. So we got 3 levels of severity, one for critical, one for warning or error, one for the low priority problem. So automatically the system will compute the thresholds on behalf of you. So it's a auto baselining for proactive alerting, so that you can solve the problems at right time. So these are the baselines auto computed. Again, dashboards. So dashboards, there are several ways you can design the dashboard using the built-in template. We offer a couple of many visuals. Using this, you can design your own dashboards to meet your requirement, or any use case you can address it. Also, we can get data from other tools, and we can create data using we can create the dashboard using the visuals available in the design engine. Again, reporting. I showed a slide where you got a lot of reports. Still, you may have a custom reporting requirement. You can use our own tool to do the reporting. Right. Again, notifications. Yes, standard through email. Again, SMS, WhatsApp alerts, a ticket in the ITSM system. So all the notification techniques are supported. So here the emails are user friendly. It contains a lot of data. So you can see the trend, then what is the problem, which server got impacted, when the problem happened, also the root cause. So every email will have the root cause. If the resource utilization is high, again, you can see which of the application is taking much time. All the things will be carried as part of the email alerting. So again, tools integration, this is very common, right? Okay. Okay, let me take you to the live demo. So here we have the demo console. Let me log in here. So we have different demo scenarios here. So I will take you to the demo in the application monitoring, where the bottleneck is on the infra. So here you will see application outages, but root cause is on different tier. We analyze the problem across different tiers and tell you where is the problematic tier. So here let me pick one scenario. So the moment you log into the console, you see the pop-up window coming front right. So here you can see the problems captured in the infra, sorted by priority. So here we use different color codes. So the red indicates the critical problem, orange indicates the error or warning. Then these are information, low priority problems. Also, you can see what is the problem, at what time the problem has happened, and other additional details are available in the same window. So you can use this window for finding the root cause. I'll tell you how. Before that, I would like to show other things here. So this is the main monitoring dashboard. This is the unified console where you can see the complete application or server status in the same console. So here I have e-commerce application, which is running on the Java-based application server, which is nothing but the WebLogic. Then databases, I got load balancer. Then this is running on the hypervisors. So you can see the other how many data points, and you can see the different status. Like good means things are good. Then here red, this is indicating the critical problem, right? You can see the complete health from this unified monitoring dashboard. So here, as I said, this is my e-commerce application. So the application got some errors. So my approach would be for any kind of application monitoring, I would measure the user experience first. So let me look into the user experience. See here, you can see 10 users. So right now, 10 users accessing the application. Again, this load time. You can see the breakup here, right? As I said, like the user experience across countries. Also, the more analysis you can see here, the geographical performance. Many information is available. Let's say if you click here, yeah, there are 26 users from South Africa, and the page load time is higher. Again, this part, same Argentina, same, the user experience is high. Also, if you see here, the user experience, many frustrated users. So let me analyze the user experience for a couple of users by clicking on the response time. So here you can see the different users accessing the application. Again, the user experience marked as slow. Let me pick one user, let's say Mark. So you can see the breakup, right? You can see the breakup. This is the overall response time, 16 seconds. So he spent 14 seconds on the server. You can see the user data. Mark is coming from Spain, and this is his IP address, right? So let me pick one more user. Maybe this is Jack. If I click on it, for this user also the response time is high, right? So he spent much time on the backend, right? So all these things are telling me my application having some bottlenecks on the backend. Also, you can see the server time. The server time is high, right? So this is telling me I need to look into the application architecture first, which can be visualized in the form of topology. So either you can do it manually, but in general, we recommend it to do it manually, because sometimes the application architecture is complex. You may also end up with the wrong dependencies. I have created this application architecture manually. You can see the color codes at a different tiers. So here you got a user network with a router and a load balancer, my web layer, application layer, and the database layer. So this is end-to-end. This is the converged approach, end-to-end. So we look into all the TS and tell you where to focus. Now, when I look into all the TS, my database is having the more severe problem. Then I want to check the database first. So what I will do is I will click on this. So, okay, so here I'm getting one more visual. So this is telling me my database is running on the ESX. There are other VMs running on top of it. So here also we do the correlation between the VM and the hypervisor and tell you where to focus. Now, when I look into this diagram, this is telling me don't look into the database, because this is having only the warning. My hypervisor having the highest problem. So maybe the root cause might be on the hypervisor. Let me click what is going inside the hypervisor. So if you click on it, you can see the layered view. So this is the layered view, and each we monitor from the hardware, OS, network, processes, and inside the VM also. Also, you can see the color codes. The hypervisor layer is red. Why? There is a parameter. So disk space usage. So there is no free space on the data store, right? So that is the bottleneck. My ESX is hosting the database. So there is no free space. So this is impacting my database function also. How it is impacting? Click on the database. So look into all the TS. Everything is fine except the server layer where you have some errors. Also, you can see the errors. What are the errors? So here you got some write errors, right? So this is telling me there is no free space on the hypervisor, which is impacting my database performance. My application uses this database. So that's completely breaking my application performance also, right? Also, you can drill down into the application. If you look into the application, I have enabled the distributed tracing, many slow transactions, right? So you can see the detailed here, but I am not telling you, hey, the application is a problem, but the problem is on the hypervisor where it is running out of space, which is impacting my database, that is impacting my application performance also. See here, you can see the timing, but this is telling me my database is the slowest segment. Click on this part. So you can see the line of code which is taking or which is triggering the query. You if you click on this execution analysis, see here, this part is telling me DB query is taking time. Now what are the DB query? No, this is a simple query, right? Simple query. Again, this is telling me the application is not the problem, right? So this is telling me go and check the database. Again, the same flow, database, go and check the hypervisor. So no free space here, right? So this is the root cause, right? This is the root cause. So there is a problem in the infra which is impacting my application, right? Which is impacting my application user experience. So this could be the problem in the data store, or it could be in the storage. So I will call the guy who's managing the hypervisor and ask him to address this issue so that my application problem will get resolved, right? So did you understand the workflow, how we able to drill down from the application till the infra and tell you where the problem is? So when you have a tool which is focusing on or doing only application monitoring, it will not have the visibility. Let's say you asked about SQL Server, right? So for this case, let's say if I use the native monitoring tool, this will say my database is a problem. It will not drill down into the hypervisor layer. That's a value you are getting here. So here when you have both hypervisor and database monitoring, you can correlate whether my database is a problem or my hypervisor is a problem, right? You can identify the root cause. So other native tools that will tell you, yes, there are write errors. Why there are write errors? We don't know. You don't know. You need to talk to different people. Finally, you will understand there is no free space. But here, within few clicks, you can understand the root cause. That's the value we can add when compared with other native monitoring or silo-based approach. So any questions on the demo workflow? I think we are stretching a bit. So I think if there are any questions, I can glad to answer this. Any questions from anyone?
Hello, can you read some question? Because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can go back to the last question.
So you want to talk about, you are talking about licensing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, give me a couple of minutes before I conclude the demo. Then, so I want to show other interesting one is dashboards. So here we have built-in, and you can create your own dashboards based on any parameters. So we call it as a customizable dashboard. So this is a single unified place where you can identify the bottleneck. So one is you can spin the dashboard in a few clicks. So let's say this is a webinar. So I have Java application. So I want to monitor the, or I want to create dashboard for this service. So I do a single click. So within single click, I can create the dashboard, right? So here you can see the performance of your Java applications. So we have different templates. We have different templates. See here. Again, if you want to customize, you can say this template might not address all my needs. So manual. So the manual way. So the manual way is here we got a design engine, dashboard design engine. Using this, there are many visuals are available. You can add it. You can just click on it. You can just click on it. Again, you can get the things done. Also, there are some configurable widgets. So let's say if I want to analyze the traffic, again, you can define what data you want, what colors you want. So based on that, you can create your own dashboards. This is on the dashboard part. Then finally, as I said, there are so many reports. reports covering a different audience, executive, different high level reports for the executives. Let's say if you want to see the complete health of what is going on across the service, again you can run and you can see the health across different tiers. These are the problematic tier. On the hypervisor there are storage level outages, then the uptime, downtime analysis across different servers. All these things you can see. Again, all the reports you can export. You can export the data, then you can create it as schedules so that you need not run it manually. Again, so many custom reports like specific to the domain. Hypervisors, synthetic monitoring, then application monitoring. So here also you got so many reports. So I may not be touch base all the reports. Again, you got reports for the capacity planning. You can do the capacity planning. You can do the prediction based on the current usage. You can do the prediction. So this is on the capacity side. So what I do is I measure the current utilization. Based on that, I can tell you what is the parameter you need to plan. So here I need to plan my disk usage. Also, you want to analyze like the top end consumers. Top end consumers in the sense, let's say, you can understand the disk busy across all the servers. Across all the servers, I want to understand the disk busy. Let's run it. Then this will tell me the top 10 servers or top 10 servers consuming the disk, right? So like this, there are so many parameters are available. The data is stored for the configured period. You can analyze this. You can analyze or you can use this reporting engine to do the various kind of reports. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover as part of the live demo. So now any questions? Maybe, yeah, this is a QA. Okay, so it could be anything like we started with the introduction.
Hello, Anthony.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Hello. Hello. Any questions? Any questions based on whatever we covered so far? Licensing, yes, we'll talk about before that, I would like to check either any questions based on the other application monitoring, based on the live demo or reporting or any general queries. Any questions?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Weywey, I think you can select some quick question because we have only have a limited time, yeah. Tim and ini.
Okay, Anthony. Regarding the report, yeah.
Okay.
Does Eginnovation have daily report or monthly report features?
Yes, all the reports you can select based on any timeline, monthly, weekly, daily, or any custom timeline. It's a standard one. You can pick your own timeline.
Okay, so for the next question, if some issue detected, yeah, does EG Enterprise can do the root cause analysis and give the solution?
Yes, we can
Solution.
yes, solution in the sense we can give you some recommendation. There are two approaches. So one is let's say if the server is down or if the application is down, then you want to restart the process. So that is a workaround. Yeah, we can do that. We can achieve that automation. That is a kind of corrective action. We can do that. So other one is let's say if the server is taking much resources, we will tell you what are the processes or services consuming the CPU so that you can check on why it is taking much time. Like that, we can help you to analyze the root cause and help to solve the problem. Something can be proactively solved like this corrective action. Something you need to check like what is happening inside that application or server. We will tell you what is the root cause. So based on that, you can analyze and you can solve the problem. For example, we can tell you this query is taking much time. So the system will not optimize the query further. So you need to rely on the SQL developer to optimize the query further to solve the problem.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, what the solution does is that it provides you the view of all the problems that are in your environment, and across a target system, it tells you which one among all the problems that you are facing, which one is the most likely the bottleneck, or which one is having the biggest issue. Now, that itself is the isolation and diagnosis, right? Then within the solution itself, there are help functions to explain to you what those things are, right? Some of it will contain some suggestion, right? Right. So within the solution itself, we also have the capability to do self-healing. So if you have a script, for example, let's say you identify there's an issue and you have a script, you can get the agent to run the script, right? To restart the server or to restart the application, right? Maybe Anthony, you want to emphasize on this?
Yeah, this is what Weywey I was talking about the corrective action, right? So this would be self-healing in the sense, let's say you find like you detected the system is down or the server is done, you can bundle some script, something, some basic functionalities are bundled out of the box, like restarting a process, restarting a service, restarting a server. Those are pre-built bundled actions are available. You can select that self-healing activities so that before it is impacting your users, you can resolve the problem. Also, you can bundle your own scripts. So let's say you want to restart a VM, right? You want to restart a VM when there is an high utilization, or you want to do something. You can write a script and bundle with a tool so that that will get executed when the outage happens. That is self-healing. Again, we can give you more insights about the problem. For example, I could show one use case. So for this report, see here, I could see the outage here on the storage layer. If you run this report, you can see the outage. So there is a red mark. If you click on it, more details about it, then we will give you some recommendation about the problem, so that this helps to analyze it effectively so that you can fix it. So this is a storage problem, so that it is giving more insights. Same again, we can give you this kind of insights for maybe let me do it for user experience assessment. So here also we run the report. Again, we tell you like the more insights about the application. So you can see the key things. You need not. So on the top summary, this is telling you more insight. So to solve the problem effectively. So like this, we are doing, or we are giving more insights, like with self-healing capabilities and more analytics to understand the root cause of the problem.
Okay.
Have we answered the question?
Yeah, okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Next question from Pak Hardiono.
Okay.
Using the real user monitoring, right? Can it be used to monitor to measure the user satisfaction of internal ERP system?
Yes, you can measure the user experience for both internal users or external users. Typically, user experience for your users could be internal or it could be external users. So for both of the users, you can measure the user experience. So typically, this is the way. There is a rating. What is the user experience poor, right? So it could be your internal users or it could be our external users. So later there are reports you can analyze why the poor user experiences. It helps for both users.
Okay, thank you. Next, from the Eginnovation analysis, can you do the capacity planning to do recommendation if any upgrade needed, like upgrading the memory, upgrading the
Yes. Yeah, this is
API.
the report. Yes, exactly. So we use machine learning to do the capacity planning. So here I'm doing the capacity planning for my application service. Just run the report. Again, you can see these are the recommendations. So this recommendation is telling me the disk utilization is high, then upgrade the disk space, right? Or upgrade the disk. Also, the disk is busy. So if you look at the average, the 95th percentile, again, it's more than 90%, then increase the IOPS. So those are the two recommendations. I can get it by doing this capacity report. Other one is prediction. Like you can understand the current usage. Based on that, you can predict the future. For example, I want to do the space or maybe IOPS analysis for my database, or I would say maybe I can pick some resource, maybe memory usage for my database. So here utilization across all my DB servers. So I have selected what I want to do. Now timeline, you can choose any timeline. Let me pick 2 weeks. So this is telling me, look at my data for 2 weeks, the memory usage, and predict for another 1 week. Just run the report. So this is also telling me the blue, whatever the blue shaded area, that is telling me the historical usage, what happened. This is my prediction. So the recommendation is here, or the verdict is the usage would be flat from this point of time. So like this, you got many capacity planning reports for hypervisors, VMs, again for servers, then your devices, all these things. Yes, still we can do the capacity planning and give you the recommendation.
Okay.
Okay.
The last one.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Anthony.
Yep.
Last but not least, please describe briefly about the licensing scheme, and also please summarize the advantages of using Eginnovation compared to other application monitoring tools.
Okay.
Okay,
Timothy,
Anthony, maybe this one I can just go through the licensing.
okay. Yeah, maybe
All right.
stop my screen. Okay, yeah, you can share your screen.
Can you all see my screen?
Still.
Right now.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
See.
Now, EG has a basically two type of licensing. Okay, we call it the premium or the basic. Sometimes we call it the application or the OS monitor. Okay, so if I monitor a Oracle database, okay, I can either use a basic or a premium license to monitor. Okay. Now, if I use a basic license, I can only monitor the process and below. Okay, can you see? And if I want to monitor the whole stack, right, then I use a premium license. Okay, now this is an example of monitoring an Oracle database. Now, this is, for example, an SAP server, right? I can see the process and below, right? And then if I use a premium, I can see the whole stack. Okay. Now, this is for an AD server, right? I can just, if I want to monitor only application and below, application process and below, I will use only a basic, okay, or we call it OS monitor, right? Or the premium, okay, which we call a application monitor, right? Where I can have visibility of everything. So it depends on your environment. You may have production and non-production server. You may have business critical admin system. So it depends on what kind of system you are monitoring. So in any environment, I could have a combination of basic or premium to monitor the whole environment. Okay. Now this is, but for hypervisors and storage, okay, you can only use the premium or app monitor to monitor. Okay, there's no basic option for hypervisors. Okay, now For all the VMs, okay, for all VMs, right, I can have 3 ways to monitor. The basic, the premium, which I've shared just now, and the VM agent. Now, this VM agent is free to use as long as your hypervisor is monitored. Okay, if your hypervisor is monitored with your premium agent, you can use the free VM agent. Okay, any question?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's enough, yeah.
Okay, so it's quite straightforward for the licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, now, next thing, just now you asked whether it's on premise or is with subscription. We have both options available. Sometimes your project is only 1 year and you say you only need 1 year license, so you use a 1 year subscription. If you have a project that is 2 years, then you can have a 2 year subscription. So there are options available. Okay, so maybe y'all can let Pak Fanky and Pak Weywey know what your requirements are, then they can help you to do that. Now, for monitoring of network device, right? One premium license can monitor 50 to 70 network devices, depending on how many interfaces those network devices have. We have customers who have smaller devices, and one premium license is monitoring more than 70 network devices. But we are giving a guide, 50 to 70 network devices per premium license. Okay, so that's just a guide. So depending on environment to environment, that number may change. Okay, 50 to 70 network devices, which include router, switches, firewall, load balancers. Okay, right. So that's basically for the licensing, right? So to sum it up, the value of EG is not just about giving you the performance data. The value of EG is to provide you the end-to-end view, to give you the unified and converged view. So when a user experience is affected, or even before the user experience is affected, the real user monitoring or the synthetic user monitoring starts to pick it up and tell you users could be affected, right? And because we support 200 different technologies, we are able to monitor network, system, application, all the way to your storage in the same product. And because it is a unified solution, right, we are able to provide you with what we call the root cause analysis, right? As I mentioned earlier on in my presentation, when I talk about the different tools, right? As you can see, let me just go back to the slide. Yeah? Okay, you see this slide that I shared just now when I was sharing during the presentation, right? It provides you the visibility across all the tiers and layers, right? Automatic diagnosis. This is the one, okay, that is going to make it effective and efficient, because when you are using one product, you're using many products, or you're using a product that has many modules, right? It's difficult for you to achieve the automatic diagnosis. So if it's not automatic and you have to have many people look at different data, right, the amount of time it takes to diagnose and isolate will be very high, right? And now, like this, the amount of time it takes to isolate and diagnose will be very high. So you're not effective, you're not efficient, right? So in order for you to achieve such a outcome in monitoring, you need to have a plan, which I've shared just now, right? You need to have a plan, and the plan is when you look at monitoring, you need to look at it and say, okay, I need to be able to do this. I need the monitoring solution to be able to do that, right? I want to do capacity planning. I want performance monitoring across physical, virtual. I want to monitor a solution that can monitor multiple products. I don't have to do an integration. I don't have to do customization and integration, right? Out of the box, EG can do all this so that it can provide you with the 360-degree view, right? So with that, I would say it gives you the outcome, which is faster diagnosis, faster isolation, faster diagnosis. That means you can solve the problem faster, right? Because if you are using many products or one product, whatever you do, but if you cannot isolate and diagnose fast enough, then the tool is useless. Okay, the thing is, the most important thing is how quickly can I isolate and diagnose. Okay, then you are effective and efficient. Okay, that's all for me. Any more questions?
I think we need to wrap up, Tim and Anthony, because we
Okay.
have another coming event.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, there are some question. I think the Nurmah, our team will forward it to you, and once we get the reply, we will submit to the audience. Yeah, there are, I
Okay,
think there
sure,
are
will
2 or
do.
3 question only.
Okay, sure.
Oke, Bapak Ibu sekalian, terima kasih untuk kebersamaannya. Langsung aja kita bacain ya yang dapetin door prize kita. Siapa yang baca nih, Weywey atau Yessi? Silakan. Halo, Weywey. Nah ini namanya sudah ada nih ya, Pak Budi Hertanto, Pak Anwar Nugraha, Pak Hardiono. Jadi tiga nama tadi akan mendapatkan door prize. Ya, jadi kita langsung closing ya. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian bisa hadir di kesempatan kita kali ini, monitoring your application effectively and efficiently dengan Eginnovation. Jadi silakan apabila ingin ada tindak lanjut, ingin mengetahui lebih dalam ataupun POC ataupun ingin tahu tentang pricing ya, demo, silakan kontak tim kami. Ada Mbak Yessi di sini, ada Mbak Nurmah tadi ya yang bisa membantu Anda, bisa kontak ke web kami. Jadi silakan sampaikan kebutuhannya atau ke email ya, di email di dcmsales@dayaciptamandiri.com ya. Jadi ini saatnya kita akan foto bersama. Silakan tampilkan videonya. Tim and Anthony, if possible, you can show your video first, so we can take a picture together. Please stop the screen, Anthony.
I think Timothy has the control, maybe.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Can you stop the screen so you can? Ya, oke. Jadi Bapak Ibu silakan tampilkan videonya. Nanti kita foto bersama ya. Jadi jangan lupa kita ada kegiatan lagi di bulan Maret ya. Silakan bisa hadir bersama dengan kita di kegiatan kita selanjutnya ya. Terima kasih juga, thanks to Tim and Anthony, Cecilia from Eginnovation team ya. You can share together with us about the solution. Very good, the good solution ya. Okay, take a picture together. Okay. Next screen. Oke. Ya, jadi Bapak Ibu terima kasih untuk kesempatannya. Mohon maaf apabila dalam pelaksanaan ada kekurangan. Silakan tetap ikuti kegiatan kita selanjutnya ya. Thank you again, Anthony and Tim.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih semua,
Okay.
Bapak Ibu.
Okay, bye.
Tetap sehat, tetap semangat. Terima kasih.